I too rise in support of the $5 million that's going to go to the Rapid Response Network. I want to thank the Jewish Family Services, the ACLU, San Diego Organizing Project, and my church, Our Lady of Guadalupe, with Father Pepe, who's here. I'm not doing an introduction because that would be somebody else's job to do for me today. But I do want to thank all the people in San Diego who have responded to this crisis. We've had a temporary shelter really in my district since October, and the reason we have it, just to understand, these organizations were told the night before people started being dumped in the streets that the federal government was ending a program. This is a program that has been in place for years and years, and it's called the Safe Release Program, where basically these asylum seekers who are here legally, they've been found to have a credible reason to claim asylum. They usually were taken in, they're given an ankle bracelet, and the federal government would see to it that they were sent to their destination where their sponsor or their family was. Most of these people do not stay in California. Most of these folks have plane tickets or train tickets that can be paid for by their family, by sponsors, by places around the United States. But you can imagine a family who has walked from Guatemala here, who's in shorts and a t-shirt, and is left by the federal government on the streets of San Isidro in my district to find their way to Chicago in sub-zero temperatures. That's what, basically with no explanation. These folks don't even speak Spanish most of the time. They speak a dialect of indigenous Guatemalan languages. And it's amazing to me that something that the federal government has been able to do for so long was stopped so abruptly and left so many people in a vulnerable position. It makes them vulnerable to human trafficking, and it makes our shelters, our homeless shelters, vulnerable to having more people there, quite frankly. Because what are these people supposed to do? They don't even have a guide to where they're supposed to be getting. So these organizations in San Diego, they stepped up. They've been filling that void. But thank God we have a governor who went down there, who looked, who said, we need to be part of this solution. This is a solution that all of us have a responsibility for. Quite frankly, in San Diego County, a lot of people will say, well, it's somebody else's responsibility, but the San Diego County Board of Supervisors also passed a resolution, found a place for a new temporary shelter, and the state has to come up with some money to ensure that these organizations can continue to run it. That's what this is about. It is not a permanent shelter. I know there's been a lot of criticism that somehow we're not housing veterans and homeless folks. This is a temporary shelter. People are there for 24 to 72 hours at the most. It is not a situation by which people are using it as transitional housing. This is to get them from being released on the streets to their destination of choice. So this $5 million is going to be well spent. In the long run, it's going to save our state money. It's going to save our local government's money. It's going to ensure that people get where they belong and they can have that hearing for asylum. It's important to remember and to go back in your communities and state, these folks, for whatever you feel about immigration, these folks are here legally. This is their right to be here. This is not some sort of, I don't know what the other side likes to say, but they are here legally. They have a claim to be here legally, and we need to assist them in a humanitarian way, and this is one step in doing that. So I want to thank all the organizations and the churches involved in helping get us to this point. I want to thank our budget chair for acting so quickly when we kind of hair on fire said we needed this as soon as possible. And of course, I want to thank our governor for proposing as well. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.